Good morning, guys. This is my Veto Pro Pack. I guess it's a Tech LC model. It's the first Veto bag I've ever owned, and I really do like it to this point. I went through a couple Hillmore bags pretty quickly, so I decided to try the Veto series. And I figured I'd give you guys a little tour of what's in the bag, starting with the front pockets here. In the very first pocket, I have two valve core removers. And there's actually a drill bit in there as well. There's just one valve core remover. And the step drill bit for when I'm drilling holes. And down here in this next pocket, typically I have a couple stubby nut drivers, but they were actually taken out. But the nylogs in there right now. Typically I have like the jumper cables as far as jumping out my wires and some of the stubby nut drivers in there. I'm going to take apart this first front zipper. We'll see what's inside. This is the business side of my box. This is the side that's most frequently opened. We'll take a look at what's in there. First of all, there is my meter. My meter is field piece. Let's see, we have the SC57. It's wireless. It does have the capability of communicating with the wireless handle and whatever attachment you have on it. I have fluke plunger leads on it. And also keep the regular leads on it as well. We have a little bag we'll go into in just a second. A few screwdrivers, large flathead, we have some scissors. We have PVC cutters used to cut PVC for drains or conduit or whatever we need to do. Channel lock pliers. Pretty nice little pliers. I like those. Made by Vice Grip. These are Irwin products. Wire strippers. This is a Hillmore multi-tool. Basically it has, you know, your large flathead, large Phillips, smaller flathead, smaller Phillips on the opposite side, and then the valve core remover on the opposite side as well. Needle nose pliers, good to reach into tight locations inside of the units. We have a crimping tool. Use that quite a bit for putting terminals on. There's just an array of nut drivers. This is a Hillmore nut driver. I don't really like these a whole lot because of how the ends, they're not really made how I would like to make them. It's sort of rounded on the end as opposed to the Malco, which is completely flat and is much easier for grabbing screws, especially after they have been rusting for a little while. And here's the 5/16 attachment to the Malco. This is it's a great nut driver. I just love these. You can take them apart and put whatever head you want on them. I just really like those nut drivers. Let's see, we have my temperature tool, which I lost the top for, but I don't really use it that much anymore. It's a little finicky as far as hitting the head and moving it around. It'll start to reset itself, and it just it's not as durable as I would have hoped. Here's my little brazing mirror from Field Piece. This little steak knife, just to cut whatever it is I gotta cut, duck liner or whatever it is. If I'm cutting a collar in, I can go ahead and cut the duck liner out with this. Oop. This is the liquid tape, which I use quite a bit when I'm making connections in a damp area, an area that might be, you know, susceptible to rust or weather. I can fill the wire nuts with this liquid tape, or patch of wire that has a little bit of a chip on it, or whatever it might be. Crap. Trash. Hey, look. I bet you guys know what that is. Here's my magnetic screw tray, courtesy Harbor Freight. It's a great thing to have around to put on top of the unit. Keep things in place. Some plumber's strap to secure components inside of the machine. Typically, capacitor, what's being secured. Blah blah. It's a little thermostat screwdriver that's lost its way. It belongs in here. We have our Lennox pipe cutters, small size. I think that's about it for in here. We got our service tool, Gotta have that. I probably have like 3 or 4 of those. And blah blah. And we have a small wrench for tight spaces. And that's just one of those little Harbor Freight wrenches, Pittsburgh. So let's take a look inside of the little yellow bag. The little yellow bag houses a bunch of small odds and ends. This is a thermostat screwdriver. I believe this is an EWC screwdriver. It just has the name rubbed off. And like Ralph says, EWC gives you a screwdriver with every zone panel, so it's kind of nice. Another service tool. Never can have enough of these bad boys. They work very well. Multiple activities. Little bungee straps. Allen wrench. Have a couple markers and a Daikin pen. Daikin. So let's take a look at the other side, see what we got over there. Here is the other side of my toolbox. What I have really enjoyed is these DeWalt work gloves. I wear them pretty much all the time when I'm working. It has the fingertips cut out so I can still handle the tools. But I've really worn the hell out of them. I mean, they're coming apart at the seams. And I've only had them for, 6 to 8 months. Not a real long time. So, I mean, they've been worn out. It's ripping apart here. But, I mean, they're so comfortable. It's a shame that they haven't lasted like I would have hoped. Here we have some wire ties. Different colors wire ties. I have a Black & Decker drill. I keep this smaller. It's a little bit smaller drill, even though it's a 20 volt. It fits in the service bag a little bit better. Because I have a Ryobi here, and as you can see, the Ryobi drill is much larger. So it doesn't really fit in the service bag very well. And all I want is a more mobile drill to use if I need to drill out a hole, like to run a wire through and put a grommet in. I'll have a drill for that. Here's my clip light. We're all familiar with this because Ralph just did a giveaway on a camouflage version. I love these lights. I'm on my 3rd one, but I just love them because everywhere you go, you can set them somewhere to work. You can set them on top of the air handlers and shine a light down. They're just great. Here is my brush. It's coming up time for a new brush. I had to trim it down because it was getting a little bit crazy on the end, but that's a idea from Steve Lab right there that's been really well accepted by a lot of people using those brushes. There's just some terminals, wiring terminals, Stacons, a little bit of some grommets in there too. And I always try to carry some 5/16 screws. As you can see, there's a resettable fuse to test with. Some fuses over here. And there's just some 5/16 screws I can use as unit replacement screws because half the units I come to, there's like 2 or 3 screws missing. We have a 3/8 nut driver I use periodically. A wrench. This is a vice grip too. I bought a lot of vice grip tools at the same time. It's a decent wrench. Not the best wrench in the world, but it does a pretty good job. Pair of snips, just some straights. And that's just if I need to cut something like the plumbing strap or something like that, I have something to cut it with. So that's about it. Every now and then things come and go in my tool bag. Like, I don't ever use that. So, some trash. It's about time to turn it upside down over the trash can. But that's about it right now. And it changes periodically, but that's what I'm carrying right now in my tool bag. Again, it's the Veto Pro Pack Tech LC. If I have that wrong, just let me know. And of course, I have my level and some electrical tape on the side. The green tape is the worst tape. It's just the worst fucking tape I've ever seen. I don't know. I don't remember where I got it. I wish I could, so I could never go there. And I have a tape measure. So, there we go. There's the Veto Pro Pack Tech LC with all my tools in it. And that's what I go out on initially to my calls. And then if I need something else, I can head back to the truck. But a lot of times, I got everything I need in that bag to come up with the cause of failure. Alright guys, thanks. I will see you guys on the next one.